My name is Mason, and this is your December 2024 Tucson real estate market update. The market is slow, especially if you're a seller. You're probably feeling it right now. Now, that's not to say some homes still won't fly off the shelf, but on average, the homes are sitting longer and longer, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending on what part of town you're in and really what price point. Sticking with the seller side of things, right now I have multiple listings, all very different types of homes, and the ones that are struggling the most is where those price points are the most saturated with inventory. And that's going to be homes listed from $300,000 to $400,000. Now, I'm saying they're struggling because two of my listings, very close and in that price range, are surrounded by other homes. Now, of course, that's where it takes a second set of eyes to look at the home and say, how can we best make this home stand out amongst all the others? If you are selling and you are a seller in this winter market, we are extraordinarily slow right now. So whether your home is on the market or you're looking to put on the market, practice patience. That's the biggest thing you can have right now. You can control almost every aspect of the sale of your home, but what we can't control is who walks in that front door. So if you've done photos right, videos, the listing, the presentation, the cleanliness of a home, the staging, remodeling, paint, whatever you have on your list, if all that has been checked and you're still not getting much foot traffic, then you can point to price. But if price isn't an issue, it's the market, the market, the market. We are slow. Buyers are concentrating on Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and travel, and they're kind of pushing pause like they do every year here in Tucson on the home search and going to approach it after the new year and into the spring, which is when we see a huge surge of housing purchases. And sellers, last realistic expectation that you should have when it comes to selling currently. Be prepared to give up some money. Across the board, sellers on average are giving up about 2% of their list price when it comes to closing. So that means if you have a $500,000 home, on the initial negotiation, it's not unheard of to take about $10,000 either off the top or out of your pocket through seller concessions that the buyer has asked for in their offer. And right now, that's the case because homes are sitting on the market. I know for me and my clients who have homes listed, if we had an offer that was a certain amount of dollars under the asking price, we would negotiate. My sellers would let me know where they're comfortable with, and we would probably be willing to work something out in the middle. Now, of course, I'm going to fight for every penny I can and get my clients the most money, but right now with homes sitting, it does kind of lean towards a buyer's market. Now, on that note, if you're a buyer, be aggressive. Find an agent who understands the market, the ebbs and flows, the neighborhood, the zip code, the street, the features of a home, and looks at the data on the home. Specifically, why is this home on the market for 215 days? Initially, my thought is price, price, price. But until you actually go to the home and look at it, you'll never know why or what the reasons are as to why that home hasn't sold. Now, I've walked into some incredible homes with buyers where legitimately nothing is wrong with it. It's priced right. It smells great. It presents well. And they ask me, Mason, why hasn't this sold? In my opinion, it's just because buying a home right now has been pushed off a little bit as a priority. Number one, because of the holidays. Number two, because of the economy, and I'm not one to get into the economy and whose economy it is and why milk is the price that it is, but things are a little bit more expensive right now. So the money that used to go towards a down payment is now going to just sustaining your ability to pay bills and your way of life. And we see that very reasoning coming through in how long homeowners are staying in their home. If we exclude first-time home buyers, we look at people who are on their first, second, or third home. Putting those homes back on the market allows for transactions to happen. Well, if no one's buying a home, then that means they're probably not selling a home. And if you're not selling a home, that means no one is buying a home. So it's somewhat of a vicious cycle that we're seeing. If there's not a conducive environment for sellers to sell, well, then buyers can't buy. I say that because, again, families are staying in their home longer. Homes are not selling as quick as they used to. Now on to the buyer side. If you're a buyer, you need to be aggressive in this market. Make sure you have an agent who is aggressive, understands the neighborhood, the zip codes, the county, the ebbs and flows. What type of season are we in right now? How are homes performing? Are sellers making more money or are sellers losing money on the sale of the home? Are buyers getting money to cover closing costs, to lower down their rate? Maybe they're getting their inspections or appliances covered. There's a lot of things you can negotiate in a slower market on the buyer side as opposed to the spring market when the sellers have a little bit of an edge on the buyers. I'll share a quick story. We just closed on a home here in town and our initial offer was $30,000 under asking price. Now, with every bone in my body, I thought two things. Number one, completely reasonable offer. Number two, we were for sure going to get countered on that price. Much to my surprise, and more so my client's surprise, they did not counter a single penny. We came in $30,000 under. Within a couple hours, we had a signed, sealed, and delivered accepted offer. A few weeks later, we were closing on the home, and my client was a happy camper. So buyers, write aggressive offers, come in under asking price, or put more eggs in your basket when it comes to getting seller concessions so you can lower your rate, cover closing costs, or various number of other things you can do. Now, circling back, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side, there is nothing on the horizon other than the spring market and maybe the new presidency come January that is going to shift this market. Today is December 18th. The feds have cut rates, but the housing rates, which are separate from the Fed rate, has failed to really budge anyway. I say this to set realistic expectations so you know that if you're shopping, really doesn't make sense to wait another week, a month, 2 months, because come springtime, Tucson historically always sees a big surge in the market where there's more buyers, there's more competition, and sellers kind of get the edge in the spring market. Now, overall, Tucson is doing very well. Tucson has been on a steady rise of home value increase since 2011. There has not been a single year since 2011 that home prices have closed out the year at a lesser number than the year prior. If I were to describe the Tucson market, it is very smooth, it's very resilient, and it's slow and steady up and to the right when we look at these charts. So let's get into the numbers. Now, these are strictly for Tucson, so if your zip code is 857 number, this applies to you, and there are, I think, 30 zip codes in total that I'm looking at. For Tucson, in the month of November, there were 492 total sales. This is up 0.2% from the same time last year. Your average sale price was $470,000. This is up 6.7%, phenomenal from the same time last year as well. Your median sales price was $380,000. That's up 2.2%. Your average days on market was 44, and your median days on market was 25. And both of those numbers were 11 days slower than the same time last year. So we're seeing almost 2 weeks slower sales when we compare 2023 to today. The average price per square foot is $235. That's up 2.9%. And the percent of list price received that a seller would get is negative 2.19%. So on average, sellers are losing about 2% from their original list price to what they're closing at. Right now, Tucson, when it comes to months of supply, which is if there were no more homes put on the market today, completely shut down, how many months would we survive and have inventory? That number is 4 months. So 4 months worth of inventory, which shows that it is slightly a buyer's market, but it is trending towards a more balanced market, which would be inventory of 5 to 6 months. This last piece is what I find very interesting, and I always like to look at. Of the 492 total homes that sold in November, there was an average price drop of 6.2%, and that typically happened at around 22 days. So just shy of a month, you would reevaluate your listing and your home for sale and say, have we been busy? Have we had foot traffic in the home? If that answer was no, then a price drop is probably coming. And on average, that's about 6%. Now, this last piece is where I get into the rankings of how zip codes are doing here in town. These are the top 3 zip codes for each category. And for the most amount of sales, 85747 had 39 sales. 85730 on the east side had 31 sales. And coming in at third up in the Foothills, 85718 had 29 sales. So those are your top 3 busiest zip codes here in Tucson. The highest price point zip codes are going to be first place 85755 at 1.125 million, 85718 Foothills again at 810,000, and coming in at third place 85749 over in the Northeast, coming in at $799,000. The most affordable or the lowest median price point is coming in at first, 85713 at $265,000, 85736 at $274, and last, third place, 85714 at $285,000. Last but not least is the zip codes with the slowest or the longest days on market. 85757 over in the southwest of town has an average of 69 days on market. 85748 is at 57 days on market. and 85756 is at 55 days on market. Overall, Tucson's doing well, and if you are a buyer and you asked me, Mason, is now a good time to buy? As long as your individual scenario, your work, your finances, your family, whatever it may be, is suitable for you making a purchase, go ahead and buy. There really is no sense in timing the market. If you wake up today and say, you know what, I want out of this apartment, I want out of this lease, or I want to move to a bigger or smaller home, just go explore. There should be no surprises because you can run the numbers, you can do all your homework, and you can just look at a piece of paper and say, hey, does it make sense for us to move now? Wait a year, wait 6 months, whatever it may be. It is such an individual and case-by-case basis as to whether you should buy or not. If you are military and you're asking this question, my question to you would be, do you think you'll be here for at least 3 to 5 years? And really, I would err on the side of 5 years or longer. And that reason being so that when you purchase the home and you go to sell it, you're not underwater and having to pay to sell your home when it's time to close. If you're on the selling side, now is the most important time to put your best foot forward. Photography. Do not settle for an agent taking photos of your home with a cell phone or any other subpar camera. I say that because we all live online. We all live in our phone, and that's how people start their home search. And if your photos and your home are getting dismissed at the first 0.2 seconds when someone clicks or sees that list of homes on all these websites because your images are poor and someone took an upside down photo of your toilet in the bathroom, then your agent is doing you a disservice. Again, put your best foot forward when it comes to presenting the house and understand the dynamic of this market. Or if you're in a different market, understand how things are flowing, how things are moving. Is it slow? Is it fast? Are you making a lot of money on your home? Are you breaking even? Or are you going to potentially stand to lose some money on your home? My priority is setting realistic expectations, and I hope, whether you're on buy side or sell side or just simply curious about the market, this video can share a little bit about what to expect. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or need me to dive deeper into your zip code, your neighborhood, or just give you an evaluation, or honestly just answer any questions, I'd be happy to. My name is Mason. I'm here in Tucson. I'll see you guys next month.